Hello and welcome back to Cousin Wives.
Woo!
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 And yeah, that's it. Okay,
Yeah, that's
bye.
it.
I'm
Oh,
just
okay. You're
kidding.
not gonna say your name? Okay.
Oh yeah, my name is Nani,
And I'm our money.
and today we're gonna be talking about religion.
Ooh,
Yeah,
it's a good topic.
it's a very good topic.
They're cousins and their wives. Don't you know they're the cousin wives? With all our money and I need to. Who knows what the hell they're gonna do? Don't wanna listen, well, it's true and bad. One of them laughs while the other gets mad. Check your man and check if it's butter. Cause this show ain't no like no other. It's cousin wives.
Now looking back at the notes, I'm like, damn man, like Kale said everything I wanted to say but couldn't,
Oh.
and it's
I mean,
just
you
so
you.
good.
I was skimming over them yesterday. You have some really good points that I didn't mention.
Oh well.
But we'll get into that in a bit.
But first off, we were looking through the like three comments that we have.
Two actually.
Oh wait, two. Just kidding.
Sorry.
Two. Excuse me. Okay. And we just want to thank everyone for being supportive and like
Mhm.
just sharing your experiences. And we did read through those.
We did.
Um,
Yes.
we had someone.
We had
Sonic Sis.
Sonicsis.
Yeah, Sonic
Sonicsis.
Sis.
Sonic sis.
I like saying Sonic Sis. She's a
Oh, I
Sonic
love
Sis.
it. She's a sis. Yeah.
That's how I read it. Sonic Sis.
Yeah.
But yeah. Kales, would you like to read it? Because I don't.
I can't read, but I'll try. Yeah,
Oh
so
my
this is regarding the episode 3, which is I believe the marriage episode or the dating
Yes.
episode.
Yes.
She asked, "What are some red flags that have gone over your head and realized now you dodged the bullet?" That's a very good question.
Aw. Do you have anything?
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think I mentioned it very briefly in the episode, but I think one of the first relationships I was with the childhood friend, I think now that I'm thinking about it now, the red flag was his aggression, like his physical aggression. Where at the time, I kind of like shrugged it off, because I mean, again, looking back, it's kind of horrible. Because I said in the episode that sometimes to get away from him, I would hide behind Julio. That should have been a huge sign that I was kind of scared of him. So definitely dodged a bullet there.
Give me his number. I'm gonna go beat him up with a pen.
It sucks because his mom, I don't know if I think I mentioned this too. His mom and his family are very good family friends with my family, or they're good friends. And they used to be my grandma's neighbor too, which is why I saw him all the time. And so like I love his family. Like I love his mom, I love his sisters. His stepdad recently did pass away, which was very unfortunate.
And this is in Mexico, right?
Yeah, this is in Mexico.
Y si estás escuchando, chingue su madre. I'm just kidding.
We need subtitles for that.
But yeah, dang, that sucks.
Yeah. So it's like even now he still brought up and kind of because like my family or my mom does all the time because again she's good friends with his mom, and so whenever his mom is mentioned, I think of him obviously, but I also think of his sisters because his sisters are really good friends of mine, and I hope they're all doing well because I haven't seen them in years, so I hope they're all doing well now.
Dang. Man,
but that's
fuck that guy.
Honestly, but that's the only like major red flag I can think of. Because again, it's like a sign. Like aggression is not always a good thing, or it's typically not a good thing. And so if I lived down there, if I stayed longer, would have eventually gone into something way, way worse, which is like scary to think of, to be honest. But yeah, for sure. If someone's being very physically aggressive towards you, to the point that you hide behind your older brother,
that's a red flag.
Definitely red flag.
Oh yeah, girl. to be
Yeah.
young and
I was not even like young and in love, just young and like
no, I was gonna say no, not young and in love. I was gonna say to be young and a little like not naive, but like just not seeing the.
oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But
But that's all I think that's all I have. Everyone else I've dated has never treated me like that. Josh for sure doesn't treat me like that at all.
no, I love the way he treats you. It's so cute.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, whatever.
I guess.
I guess. Why do you sound like my husband?
I'm just kidding.
I can't.
Do you have anything? Did you dodge a bullet?
Yes, and I did talk about this ex. But for me it was like not to toot my own horn, but I would usually see the red flags and I'd be like, yeah, I'm out. Like I'm done. Like I'm not putting up with this shit kind of thing.
Even at like at a young age?
Yeah, I've always been like that. Which is why I'm telling you, that's why I left my first boyfriend ever, because I can see like he likes girls, like he'd be with someone and be thinking about someone else, you know what I mean? Or like looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love you, but no. You know? Like in a friend kind of way, like I love you, but this isn't gonna work. So and then he would bring up an ex and I was like, yeah, that's a red flag for me, dude. Like I'm not about to compete, so I'm done.
Well, when he brings up the ex, in what context does he do it? Does he do it to like make you jealous or to compare?
No. You could just tell that he wasn't over her, in a sense where like he hadn't come to terms with it. And mind you, like he ended up going out with her again later on. So I was like, okay, no, yeah.
Yeah.
And like when he would break up, he'd already have like a girl ready to go.
How hot was this guy?
He's very handsome.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. But yeah. But yeah, so I've always been that way. But the one that I dodged that I didn't see until after was a guy that cheated on me. Because I was the type of person that's like, okay, like, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. So when he was like, oh, like, can I go to, I think it was homecoming with some girl whose date canceled on her last minute. And I was like, oh yeah, whatever. Like, I didn't want to be that girlfriend that was like, no, like, you can't, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. So he ended up going with her and then cheating on me.
Oh.
And I didn't hear about that till after the breakup. And he broke up with me. Yeah, but
wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't hear about it. It happened really fast because I think he was like planning on leaving me.
Yeah.
But because I was going through a lot. Like I was going through a lot. And so he ended up going to homecoming with her. And then I started to hear rumors, and then sure enough, like he ended up breaking up with me like that same week. And it wasn't until a friend told me later that that guy did cheat on me. And then it was the same guy that he confessed that he had cheated on another girlfriend. So I was like, hey, no, yeah, this guy's a cheater. So I guess like in that sense, like I dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get that vibe till later. But
yeah, definitely.
But had I known, I would have dumped his ass.
Oh, for sure.
Had I known.
Cheating is...
But yeah, that's... No, girl, one's a cheater, I was a cheater.
Yeah.
And I don't do the whole second chance thing.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Cheating is definitely a red flag, for sure.
Oh,
especially if you both agree to be exclusive. Like, I know there's other types of relationships. Like
and that's okay. As long as
that's
mutual.
Completely fine. As long as it's mutual and consensual, then
exactly
do what you want. But if you promise to be with someone and you're hooching around with someone else, that's not right.
Nope. We're throwing hats. Pedro, if you're listening,
he's like snoring behind
I'm
you.
Just kidding. I know he is. I can hear him snoring all the way over here. Poor thing.
Did you say sleep with one eye open?
Yeah.
Damn, girl.
I'm kidding, dude. I know he'd never.
No.
We've had these conversations where like we're one and done. Like as soon as we know, like if the other person, God forbid, like cheated or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Like we're done. Like that's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Now,
taking the cats.
this is just out of like my own curiosity. Is there different levels of cheating? Because you've heard of like emotional cheating,
Emotional, and that's what I was gonna
cheating.
say. Dang, I feel like I would also count emotional cheating.
Like you would straight up leave them, or is it something that you would have to work through?
I think emotional, I would work through it, but physical, like we're done. We're done.
Oh, physical for sure.
But I think emotional, I would try to work through it because obviously there was something missing in the relationship, you know?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That
I'm
makes
like,
sense?
if it's gone to the point where they seek out attention or love or anything like that, but it's not necessarily physical from someone else, then that's a little I don't know, cause like you can have friends, you know. Like, is having a friend cheating? I don't think so. Like, you have an emotional connection to your friends, and
but I'm talking about, hey baby, things like that.
Oh no, like you probably shouldn't call your friend baby unless you have like a, I don't know, man.
No, I think under no circumstances should you be calling your friend that.
I mean, like friends, like guy friends specifically, joke around with each other. They're like, oh okay, hey, well, and they like flirt with each other, but they're not necessarily into each other.
No, that's different. That actually cracks me up because my husband and his best friend do that all the time, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah. Josh and our friend Randall, well, Josh hits on him all the time, and Randall just gets uncomfortable, so I don't know. It's low-key kind of funny,
Pedro needs to hear about this because
but like,
is it be upset when he hears about it?
But is it different if he does it with another girl?
Yes, 100%.
100%.
Because I feel like that kind of leaves the door open in a way. Yeah. Like I would have it in the back of my mind that something could come from that.
Yeah, that's true.
In a sense where like let's say like Pedro was bi and he was doing that with another guy, I would still be worried because I'd be like they could possibly be attracted to each other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there is a possibility of attraction, I would not want that. Cause like my best friend and I, like she calls me babes and I call her mamas. Yeah. Like that's just shout out to my best friend. Woo!
Yeah, that's just how you guys are.
Yeah, but if there was like any chance that something could come from that, then we wouldn't be doing that because it's not right.
Yeah, I think in just ultimately it's just like, I don't know, disrespectful.
Yes.
Like you can have friends for sure.
Yes, you can.
But there's definitely limits on what you share and what you say to them. Or at least, I don't know if that's I've tried to like rationalize this. I'm just like, is that controlling though? I don't know. Is that a toxic type of like,
no, because
are those toxic thoughts to have, if that makes sense?
I think it is when you both haven't talked about it. Like, this is something that you guys should sit down and discuss as to what you're okay with and what you're not okay with.
Yeah.
That way you can both have a say in it versus you just going, yeah, you can't do that. No, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I mean?
That's true.
So if you see it that way, you should always share what doesn't make you comfortable.
Oh, for sure.
And try to compromise and work on it. So, yeah.
And it also sucks that when you say you're uncomfortable with something and then they still do it, definitely a red flag.
Oh yeah, that's a big one
for sure. You've heard like people say men and women can't be friends.
Yeah,
I think that's a not a healthy statement to say.
No, it's not,
because you can. Like,
yes, you can.
They can't be friends without something sexual happening. That's not true at all.
No, dude, I had an old coworker, like, and I went to go hang out with him, just him and me, and nothing happened. And we even discussed it because my brother was like, "Oh, like you should be careful about that." And he was telling me how his family was like, "Oh my gosh, she's married. Like you can't be hanging out with her." And he's like, "What the fuck? Like we're just hanging out."
Yeah.
And we did. Like, we had a great time. We were playing video games. We went to go eat lunch. He has cats that I was playing with. Like, it was really fun.
Yeah. Because, you know,
so I just...
friendship.
Yeah, it can happen. If you're going into it going, oh my God, like... Okay.
Definitely.
If you feel like you are somewhat attracted to another person, maybe you shouldn't be hanging out with them.
Like, or you shouldn't be in a relationship.
That too. That too.
Yeah, definitely.
Or if you know that person likes you, you should not be hanging out with them. If you don't have feelings for them, but they do, do not go hang out with them ever.
Yeah, for sure.
Not by yourselves.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I had a friend who would do that, dude. Like, I think she was already married, and she would hang out with this guy that liked her, and she knew it. And he would get mad at me for telling him to stop being a piece of shit. And he ended up trying to kiss her, like, do all this other stuff. And I was like, why do you keep disrespecting your partner by doing that? Like, that's disrespectful.
Yep.
But I was like, whatever, to each their own.
In conclusion, don't be a homeworker.
Yeah, in conclusion, if you know somebody likes you, don't hang out with them. Because, one, like, that's just really messed up.
Yeah.
Like, to your partner and to that person. Because no matter what, that person's going to be like, oh my God, like, I have, like, an opening to make something happen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
In their mind, it's always going to be like, okay, yeah, maybe they do want it too because they're hanging out with me. Some people think like that. You'd be surprised.
Oh, yeah. I hear that all the time. I mean, not all the time, but I hear it a lot.
Enough.
Especially, like, on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I think that type of mentality where men and women can't be friends is just... It's
BS.
It's simply not a true statement.
No.
Yeah, like you said, it really depends on intention. If you're going to be alone with this person and you're immediately thinking, oh, I can kiss them, I can do these things, and they're unavailable or you're unavailable, that's fucked up.
I know.
Yeah.
In conclusion, don't be a piece of shit.
I was going to say something else, but it keeps like...
Take your vitamins, girl. Your memory vitamins.
There are instances where I make it clear that I'm, like, not available, if that makes sense. Not that men are, like, constantly flirting with me, but every now and then I get someone who, like, hits on me. And I'm just like, no. When I was out in Kentucky for work, one of the guys I was working with, we were, like, alone the whole time. And we were doing assignments together, and we were doing, you know, our work. Yeah. And, like, out of nowhere, he was like, oh, do you want to... Because, you know, I was in Louisville, however you say it. And he was like, oh, you're new around here. We can, like, you know, explore around town. And I can... and we can, like, you know, explore the city together, and I can show you a bunch of cool places. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because I was there for, like, 2 weeks, and I'm like, well, might as well see some, like, cool places around here. And then, like an hour later, he was like, you should come by my apartment. And I'm like, what?
Excuse me?
I had my ring on the whole time. I don't know how he did not. I don't know how he did not see it, but as soon as he did,
he saw it.
He immediately was like, "Oh, are you?" He was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's my ring. I'm married." He's like, "You're married?" I'm like, "Yeah." What? I don't know.
Wait, he really hadn't seen it?
Yeah, I don't know how he had not seen him. Like, my hands were, like, in front of me the whole time. And I don't know.
No.
Maybe I was, like, in the wrong because maybe I didn't make it more clear.
Maybe how much more clear do you have to...
Yeah, because I was also thinking, like, oh, this is cool. You know, I made a new friend and we're going to hang out later. Like, that's cool.
That's usually how this
what you
works
think.
In our brains.
Yeah, like, I'm not immediately thinking, oh, I'm going to sleep with this guy. No. Like...
A lot of people think like that, like, oh yeah, I can sleep with this person.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. I also realized how, like, terrifyingly easy it is to cheat, if that makes sense. Especially if you're like constantly traveling. Yes. It's so easy. You can just hook up with someone and never see them again. That's so scary.
And your partner would never know.
And you can never talk about it, and they'll never know.
Unless, of course, you bring some disease home, but that's different.
Bro, that's a different story.
Whole different story. That'll be on another episode. I'm just kidding.
I don't know how that chlamydia got there. It was, I don't know.
I mean, you know what? I think I sat on a toilet the other day and I forgot to put a little protective sheet.
Yeah, and it wasn't sanitized, and
no,
it's not me, baby.
No. I don't know how that got there. Could have been anyone, really.
Could have been anyone, really. At that point, it really was anyone.
So gross.
But yeah, ever since then,
yeah.
I'm not annoying when it comes to like, I'm not immediately like, I meet someone new and then I'm immediately, oh, I'm married, because that's assuming that they're even interested in me, and that's weird. But I do make it clear that I'm like not interested, especially if it gets to like that type of topic. I make it clear, because I also don't want to invite any room for doubt in my marriage, you know, because when I came home, I told Josh what happened. I'm like, this guy I didn't realize he was hitting on me and he wanted me to come over, and I didn't immediately said no. And I was honest about it, and I'm just like, I guess it happens. I don't anyways.
Dude, and some people don't care if you're married, especially when you're out traveling and they know. They're like, they're not gonna find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say that next. I've had so many guys, like when I'm talking to them, I'm trying to make new friends, especially when it comes to like video games. I've met a lot of cool people just from like some of the co-op games that we've played or some of the online games that we've played, and like over half of them, like, I'm just like, I'm not interested, I have a boyfriend or I'm married, and they're like, that's nice, let me see your titties, and I'm like, girl, what do you want? Like, I mean, obviously you want to see your titties.
Did they stutter?
And I'm just like, that's just so blatantly, like, at least for me, it's so like disrespectful. Like, I just told you I'm not interested, and I'm not going to do anything with you. I get that it's online, so people can debate whether or not it's cheating. But to me, it is, If someone spoke to Josh like that, I'd be fuming. I'd be
like, who is this bitch?
I'm like, who is this girl? No. You told her no. Why is she still bothering you?
Exactly.
I don't know. Stuff like that gets me heated.
Oh yeah, dude. Because I don't know if I've told you, but my husband says that when he's at work, because he works at a campus with students, college students, some of the bitches there call him daddy or king, and I'm just like, excuse me? And he's like, babe, I've told him that I'm married. I constantly bring you up, and they still do it, and I'm just like, I'm about to go over there and beat these bitches up.
Like,
because they're illegal, which means
it's legal to catch these hands.
and I could, they're about to catch them. Rated E for everyone, bitch.
I mean, daddy is a little weird for sure. King, I think is fine, but that's just me. But
daddy though, like, daddy, I don't even call him daddy. No, I wouldn't want to. But the point is, I don't call him that.
Yeah,
should. If you're listening, fuck you.
Fuck you.
Damn college bitches. Anyway, but yeah.
And
yeah.
Do you have anything else to add before we move on?
Jinx. No, I'm good. You know what? Let me throw one more fuck you in there.
All right, and that's that on that. Anyways.
Yeah, that's a whole
that was a whole 30 minutes, girl.
Yeah, almost. Thanks for that question.
That was a really good question, though.
It really was.
Thank you so much.
No, it's Sonic Sis.
It's Sonic. Oh my god.
I like saying it Sonic Sis.
Sonic Sis.
Anyways,
so now let's move on to our actual topic for the episode today.
What was it? I forgot. I'm just kidding.
I know, me too. The title for this episode, or at least in our notes, it's our personal experience with religion and how it's a scam.
How it's a scam. Mm-hmm. A scam.
Just a heads up. We were both raised in the Christian slash Catholic branch of religion, if that makes sense. So this is just our experiences and our perspectives for this specific religion. It doesn't necessarily carry over to others, obviously, because we did not experience that. So
exactly,
we're gonna talk mad shit. So if you're a very devout Christian, I'm just sorry, but also not sorry.
Not sorry. Because if you're a good Christian and do what you're actually supposed to do, this won't apply to you at all.
Yeah. If you're a good person, then you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
And if you start to get mad, then maybe you should start reflecting on what kind of person you are. Because...
Yeah.
Kales, would you like to go first?
Well,
too bad you're going first.
I was gonna say, fine, okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
So like I mentioned before, I grew up in a very Catholic household. My dad is Christian or identifies as Christian, and my mom is Catholic. But you know how it goes, whatever. Like, typically when we went to churches and like our Bible studies was primarily from a Catholic's perspective, because when it came to religion, even though my dad considers himself a religious guy, he isn't, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't go to church, he doesn't pray, he doesn't do all these things, but when it comes to God, he is very adamantly like, oh, you have to believe in him, you have to love him, you have to trust in him, otherwise you're gonna go to hell. He has that very much that mentality. And my
always
mom
thought he was
sorry,
atheist.
go ahead.
No. I just always thought he was atheist. Continue.
My dad?
Yeah.
No, girl. He's like the furthest thing.
Dang. Okay, continue. Your mom, sorry.
Yeah. And my mom is like that times 100.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So she was the one that was very much, we need to go to church. We need to do these Bible studies. We need to have people into our house to teach us about the Word of God, or anything like that. She would invite into our house. So looking back now, I think at the time I tolerated it because, I had to. Like, I was a kid, I was a teenager, I had nowhere else to go. I couldn't just leave, so I had to stick it out. And at one point, I was very much a believer. I very much identified as being a Catholic, and I took the Word of God or the Bible more seriously than I do today. But it was, I don't know, overall, because of religion, I grew up very restricted.
Yeah.
Just because, we were Catholics, so Catholics tend to be more strict in their beliefs and how they do things.
Right.
And also because I was a woman, or I'm a woman.
You were a woman.
Yeah.
You heard it here, folks. I'm just kidding.
Just to confirm. So on top of the religion, there was, just slight sexism in there.
Slight. Okay.
Just slight, because Catholicism does reinforce gender stereotypes between men and women, and so the man is always the head of the household. My brothers are not more important than me, but subtly they're, or like, it's implied. It's implied. But yeah, me and my sister were always told to essentially be good housewives in the future. So we often cooked. I mean, not really cooked, but we did clean a lot compared to our brothers, because it was always, well, it's your job to do it. Your brothers don't necessarily have to do it. So it's up to you and your sister to help out mom. And I understand cleanliness is something I do like. I like being clean. But also, I feel like that's just the standard for everybody.
Exactly.
So I always, in the back of my mind, I was always like, why is it just specifically me and my sister? Like, we shower all the time. Like, we're clean. Like, our rooms weren't messy. Like, what? Anyways, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, it was stuff like that. where it was always like everything or most of the stuff I did was like a reminder that this is like prepping you to be a good housewife, and then you're gonna get married and you're gonna have 7.5 children and stuff like that.
7.5? No, what does that even mean?
I don't know.
Did you have a like dwarf or an incomplete child? What does that mean?
I don't know. I'm assuming it's like you have 7 kids and then you're like 5 months pregnant.
I cannot. Oh, okay, that's how you took it.
That's how I do it.
Completely different. Okay, anyway, continue.
But it was very much that, like, yeah, and it was very restricting, and
right,
I didn't like it. Obviously,
same,
and yeah, but that's just like my own experience. I know other people have different experiences, and
of course,
yeah. But one of the things that really brought me out of that were like I just stopped. I mean, well, to start, I'm agnostic now. I've renounced my Catholic faith. I don't.
Oh no, Tia.
Oh no! Don't tell her.
I can't.
I'm very much. I don't know if God exists. He may exist. He may not. Either way, it's fine. You know. But when I really started just distancing myself from church and from Catholicism was I think like around 18, 19. And a lot of it stemmed from like the hypocrisy and the inconsistency I see with the church and with churchgoers and with some of the stuff they said. I mean, this is a very stereotypical thing to say, and I don't know how prevalent it is in all or most churches, but you constantly see stories of like a pedophile priest in churches violating children, and that's something that just obviously it's wrong. It's just I don't know, it's fucked up. But I think the worst part is that type of abuse is constantly overlooked. It
really is.
Where it's like it's just excused just because he's, and it's typically men that do this, of course. I'm not saying that women aren't pedophiles, because I mean there seems to be a surge of female teachers that sleep with their teenage students, and that's fucked up too.
And that's for another episode.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, you're right.
But what I'm talking to now is specifically men that are abusing young children. And I'm not sure if this happened in the church that I went to. I'm gonna say I don't think so, but also if it were to be true, I wouldn't be surprised. Which is the ultimate, like, I don't know, like the most fucked up thing to say, that you're not surprised that a quote unquote man of God is like raping children, and
that's sad.
That's fucked up. But yeah, it was like the overlook. It was like abuse was constantly overlooked, and it also I don't know. I feel like I think it came from like because you know when you first go into Christianity and when you're introduced into Christianity, one of the main talking points is whatever you've done, no matter what sin you've done, you will always be forgiven if you ask for it. And I think that allows people, or at least horrible people, to do what they do.
Yes.
Have their
repeatedly
have their quote fun, and then they go to the church and they're like, as long as I admit this, I'll be saved.
And that's stupid.
And that's stupid. Like, how, like, if imagine yourself that you were God and a guy dies, and this is like a pedophile, but before he died, he was like, oh, I've done all these atrocities. can you forgive me? Are you gonna forgive him? No.
Hell no.
I would be like, bitch, you're going to hell. What the fuck? I don't know. It's
I agree. No, I agree.
Yeah, this whole like merciful father, this loving father. It's such a nice idea, but no. Like I again, I think that type of mentality like allows abuse to happen. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Like, people twist it into what they want. Yeah, it's the problem. Like, humans are the problem.
Yeah, that's another point I was gonna say. Is
I know, I started in the notes. It was so good.
the religion itself, like some of the passages in the Bible are actually very nice, because the whole point of religion, I feel, is like a moral guide for you to not be an asshole or a bad person. So you don't steal, you don't cheat, you don't murder, you don't assault, you don't do any of these things. So I like that aspect of it. So, but people ruin, like you said, people ruin it. It's like how Josh says it, religion is fine, it's organized religion that is shit.
Exactly. No, it really is.
Yeah. So
to clarify, we don't have a problem with religion, we have a problem with people.
We have when it comes down to it, it's like, man, some people are just evil, honestly. I don't know if it's innate or if it's learned or whatever, but people are always gonna ruin shit for other people. What else is in my notes?
Fuck people.
In conclusion, fuck people.
Fuck people. I'm tired of this shit.
But yeah, like I mentioned before, pedophilia, unfortunately, is very prevalent in the churches. Another thing, excuse me, another thing is I see a lot is like, and again, I don't want to be very like one-sided or biased, but this is what I've primarily seen. But it's like married men that cheat or have like these super fucked up kinks that eventually come to light.
Yes.
Like, yep. I mean, not necessarily like, not that having a specific type of kink is inherently wrong, but it's the hypocrisy that you see that he's constantly shaming other people for like watching porn or participating in these sexual acts, and then he turns around and is into the same thing. Like, girl.
Yep. Or worse.
Or worse, yeah. So it's that inconsistency that I see a lot too. And again, another thing is like, and these are just examples that I've seen. It's like these very conservative and Bible worshipping men. They constantly shame and bash other people for being non-religious or just a regular being, like a regular human, if that makes sense. Yes. And then they turn around and they actually, I feel like I'm not making any sense, but one example is it's like a very closeted man who's like a Christian, and he actively like goes to church and does all these things, and he shames gay men, and then it turns out he's gay himself. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Yes, it does. It makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the hypocrisy of it. I'm just like,
for sure.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
And yeah. I don't know.
No, I agree. I have examples of that in my own family.
Yeah.
But we'll get to me.
Another example is like when men pride themselves of being family men, and they have children and they've been married for so long, but then and they actively like preach against abortions. And then their mistress gets knocked up by them and suddenly go get an abortion, girl.
Yep.
I love it. Yeah, it's just,
I mean, it happens in like with the rich people all the time who claim to be super hardcore, like religious and all that.
Yeah.
I hate people.
Yeah, I think it's just this is the podcast where we just realize we don't like people.
I always say it. Well, not people in general, just bad people.
Oh, for sure.
And there are too many of those.
Definitely.
On this earth, if you ask me.
Yeah. But again, overall, I think it's just an excuse for horrible people to do horrible things without any real consequences of their like actions.
Agreed.
Let's see what else. Yeah, they use religion or the Bible to justify their shitty beliefs. It's essentially for people to be like homophobic and sexist and be like, well, the Bible, girl, bye.
Girl, bye. They twist what the Bible says a lot too.
Yeah.
And another thing is like, okay, if God gave us the free will to be or do whatever we want, who are you to tell them that what they're doing is wrong?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you say that God's gonna judge them. Okay, then let him.
Let him.
You're
not God.
Like, wait, no, you're not. I don't know who told you were. And if God's talking to you, maybe you should start taking some meds. I don't know.
Oh my God. I was gonna say something like that too.
Like, but in a sense where like, if you're claiming God's talking to you, but you're over here doing a lot of messed up shit to other human beings, maybe that's not God talking to you. Just saying.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe.
Like, I'm not saying, oh my God, like everyone who says God talks to them. No. If you claim that God's talking to you, you're doing nice things, fine, whatever. But if you're over here doing messed up shit to other people, maybe you should start like seeking some mental help.
Oh, for sure.
Help and take some freaking meds.
Oh, for sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. if God is like, you have to kill these people, girl, they ain't God. Let's get schizophrenia. You gotta get that checked.
No, you gotta go talk to somebody about that and leave everybody else alone.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
Another thing I want to mention is that you know, the whole point of being a Christian is to ultimately get to heaven. And so if you have to be threatened with eternal damnation for you to be a good person, then you're not a good person.
Pedro and I talk about that all the time because my husband's atheist. And like he's constantly telling me that. He's like, you don't need religion to be a good person.
Yep.
And if you do, like that's kind of like it's like, really? Like you need that reason to be a good human being to other people? That just means you're freaking evil.
Yeah. No, and he's right. And he's right, yeah. Yeah, it's just because that's all I've ever heard is like, well, if you don't believe in God, then you're gonna go to hell. And I'm like, that never made any sense, because it's like, if you're a good person and you live your life good, like you never hurt anyone, you never steal, you never do all these things, but the only fault that you have is that you don't believe in God and he rejects you, well, girl, then like, are you do you really want to follow a God like that? Like, no. Honestly, no.
He sounds so unfair and not like,
he sounds very what is that word? Narcissistic.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what it sounds like to me.
And then another thing was like like every sin is equal. Like if you steal like a piece of candy and then somebody else steals like a brand new car or something, like you both get the same punishment. Like how does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
How does that make doesn't make any sense to me.
Absolutely not.
No.
If you murdering is very different from stealing.
Yes.
Like you kill someone and that's the same as you stealing a piece of candy, girl.
No, girl, bye.
Girl, bye.
Bye.
That makes no sense to me.
Same. That's why I was like, what the heck? I don't know, just a lot of things that I hear makes me not want to like follow it anymore.
Oh, for sure.
And it's taken like a lot for me to do that, because and I know it sounds really messed up, but like once I started like moving away from religion, I came to find that like I was a lot more at peace and like happier.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
Same. When I started distancing myself from like my parents. I guess this is just like an issue between me and my parents, but my parents and religion, I felt so much happier.
Yeah.
You know, because my thoughts and my feelings weren't sins anymore. They were just my thoughts and my feelings.
Excuse me, exactly.
Like, I don't know. It's so sad. Sometimes I think about it and I'm just like, did I really used to believe this and I just went with it too? Like, dude, like sometimes I felt shame, you know?
Yeah, yes.
And then you feel shame when you don't believe. Like, it's such a I hate it.
And then I would get that fear of, oh man, I'm just gonna burn for all eternity because I don't believe.
Oh girl. Even
like
even to this day, I like, well, now my own personal belief, it's, I don't know if there's an afterlife. I mean, ultimately I hope there is, because you know, you die and then that's it. That's kind of scary, but also like I felt like scared but also relief, because then it's like, well, if there's nothing after, then at least I'm not gonna go to hell. You know? And
that's my thought exactly also.
Yeah. But then it's also like part of me, I think, that maybe still clings on to Catholicism, that's like, but what if there is a hell? What if I'm gonna go straight to hell as soon as I die? You know?
Oh girl.
And I still feel that. Like, it's very it's very like fleeting, but it's still kind of there. I don't know.
No, dude, I feel the exact same way. Like, I don't know, I feel like being with my husband has helped me pull away from like the claws of religion.
Oh yeah.
Because he like helps me see it in a different light. But like, there's that part of me where it was so ingrained in me that like I still fear for it. Like, it got to a point where it was really stupid, but like when it would get really hot, especially because anxiety, and I feel like my anxiety stemmed a lot from like religion and how my dad like would talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
Because as you know, like my mom's Catholic, my dad's Christian. My mom worked out like a lot, like out. Like she would work different states, different cities, so she'd be gone a lot. So I feel like my dad influenced my beliefs a lot more. And though my mom's family did try to get me to go to Catholic church and like do my first communion and all that, I tried it, but I was not for it at all. Like, I didn't like it. But my dad would constantly talk about the Bible, and then he started telling me about the end of the world and like signs that would point to it. And like growing up, I would start seeing things that he would talk about, and that's why I feel like that's why I'm really, really scared of earthquakes. Yeah. And then I would have nightmares, dude. And my mom didn't know till literally like maybe a few months ago that my dad would talk about this. And she was like, I specifically told him not to. And I was like, yeah, mom, like to this day, like if it's really hot outside, I'd be like, okay, like I need to withstand heat, because what if I'm like burning for eternity? Like, I need to prepare myself just in case. And it's really scary. Like, I talked about this in therapy, and my therapist was like, oh, you'd be surprised how many like people come in here because of that. Like, they're scared of like doing wrong because of like religion, and like how much it affects them, and like how their anxiety gets worse because of it.
Yeah.
So I feel like once I started taking meds, like it helped calm my anxiety. But at the same time, it's like when I talk to my dad and he starts talking about the end of the world, which he still does, I feel that like tightening of my chest. Like, I feel like a panic attack coming. And I start worrying about like catastrophic events, and like, oh my god, like what if I go to hell? And I don't know, dude, like you were saying, like how is it that a really good person who tried to do their best, you know, wasn't super religious but like enough, like why wouldn't they go to heaven? You know, like what is the qualifications for going to heaven?
Yeah.
You know? I don't know if any of that made sense.
No, but it does. I can relate, obviously. But no, my mom does the same shit. Like, I don't feel as worse as you do when it comes to like anxiety and panic. I usually just brush her off. But she does go into like these rants about the end of the world. And I'm like,
yours
Mom,
too. No.
por favor, go away. Who invited you? It's her house.
Girl, it's her house. No, dude, like I feel like I've had a lot of like existential crises.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like I don't know what comes after, and it's the not knowing that really, really like triggers me.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like, what are we doing here if there's nothing after? Like, part of me is like, okay, cool. Like, if there's nothing, like maybe I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have to worry about going to hell, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
But then part of me is like, man, like I wish we can live. Like, I want to know what it's like to live carefree.
Oh yeah.
And not worry about anything, you know? But then it's like, are my loved ones not gonna make it there with me?
Yeah.
But then technically, if it's a super happy place, like I'll forget like about them completely. I don't know. It's like just a couple things that like just come into my mind, and it's like, what am I doing here on this earth? Like, what is my purpose?
I know. I completely understand, girl. I get it.
Yeah, like it's crazy. And then I start thinking about animals or like bugs. It's like some bugs only live like a couple hours and then they're gone.
But do they go to heaven?
You know? And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no, like, where do they go?
Yeah, did you even get a chance to hear the word of God?
No, they didn't. I should start reading them the Bible when they come buzzing over here.
When they're maggots. And God, you have a Bible? Listen here, little buggies. I'm gonna save you.
You know, like if you really think about it, like because we're humans, like we think we're so superior to every other being.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, where do they go? Like, they have a purpose. Their purpose is to lay more eggs and die, or
literally,
you know, just reproduce. And I feel like, what if that's our purpose? Only that we're a lot smarter and live a lot longer.
Yeah. No, I'm like in the same boat with you, girl. Like,
right? I don't know. That's why I go crazy, and then Pedro tries to like bring me back.
Oh yeah.
You know, bring me back, and I'm like, okay, you're right.
See,
I just need to get that out.
I feel like Pedro's like a rock to you, but when I start saying like rants and stuff, Josh joins me.
Oh God, no.
He's like, yeah, you're right, and
oh my God. And then you're both just huddled in the corner.
And then we're both like rocking back and forth, crying.
Oh my God. Funny enough though, Pedro's name does mean rock.
Yeah, that's true.
It does. Like, if you Google it, it means rock.
It means rock. Oh, I love it.
It really does. But yeah, dude, like he'll listen to me, and then he'll like give me feedback, but then he'll try to like bring me back too. And he's like, well, if that's how it is and that's how it is, baby, you can't do anything about it. And I was like, damn, Pedro, why can't I be like that? Even when I take meds.
No, yeah, it's honestly, it's just terrifying. I think death in general is just terrifying.
It really is, dude.
But yeah, going back to what you said about like the afterlife, yeah. I've thought about this a lot too, and like I get anxious over it as well. But it's specifically like I've had thoughts where like, well, when we all die, or when I die, will I see my family again? Like, that's my concern. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, like I tear up about it too, because I'm like, well, I'm not gonna see them anymore. Then what's the point?
Dude, I know.
You know?
Then what was the point?
I don't know.
Sometimes I wish that I was like, I know it's really messed up, but sometimes I'm like, man, like, why couldn't I just come into this earth as a freaking gnat and then died within like a day or two and then call
honestly,
it a life?
Sometimes I'm like, why didn't I come into this earth like as a more powerful being, like a bear?
That too. I cannot.
I want to be a bear.
I just want to be a gnat and die. And not have to think about anything but just buzz around, annoy a couple humans, and then just die.
Honestly.
Like, that's it.
That's it. we have very different choices in what we would be.
Yes, we do. We really do. I'm sticking to my gnat.
I'm sticking to bear.
Bear sounds cool. Bear sounds cool, but I just want to die within like a couple hours being alive, you know? Woo!
Yeah, it's maybe that's why people cling on to religion. And I feel like that is for most people. It's just, death is so scary that you need to believe in something in order to like be able to live your life, maybe. I don't know.
No, I know. But then I hate hearing about these stories about how these people like died for a little bit and then they came back and they were like, oh my God, like I saw, like with Grandpa, like
I was just about to say.
Right, like he saw himself like
in hell,
being thrown into the pits of hell.
Yeah. I mean, you weren't a good person, Grandpa.
What?
I mean, he wasn't. I mean, again, he wasn't a good person. Like, he was a great grandpa. He was a great grandfather. Love him
Yeah,
I love him, and I hope he's resting well. But like, he wasn't a good father. He wasn't a good husband.
No.
From some of the stories I've heard, I'm just like, what? Grandpa did that? Yeah, he's committed a lot of sin for sure.
But then it's stories like that like make me wonder, you know?
Yeah, that's true, but it's also like, see, here's what the psych degree comes in. So like your brain for once for once in my life. So I feel like this is where like the brain comes in. Where like you're dying, you're on your deathbed, you're dying, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Your brain, like, I don't know what it does. I'm not a bio major, I'm a psych major, so I don't know shit. But also I know the brain goes through a lot, and maybe in that process it also like imagines you in heaven or in hell. That's why you hear a lot of stories about, I saw God, or God was talking to me right when I was about to die, or I was in the pits of hell. And I'm like, I don't know why I have a southern accent suddenly, but
I think it fits perfectly.
But I think it's like brain chemistry, what you see right before you die, and people like mistake that for like religion and for God. I don't know. Maybe I can be completely wrong, and maybe it is God telling you like, bitch, stop being mean or I'm sending you to hell, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
But it's just that we just don't know.
Yeah, we don't know until we actually die.
Exactly. And then we just take all that information to the grave, and then nobody ever knows. Yeah. Which is why I wanted to be born a gnat and then just die. Like, what the hell? Actually, maybe I could have been a bear. You're right. I could have been living in the wild, fishing with my claws.
Yeah.
Taking care of my little youngins.
Yeah. I feel like animals have a much simple life than we do, because
that's what I'm saying.
They just feed, they fuck, and then they die, and I'm just like, girl,
that's the life, bro.
And like we do that too, but we're also anxious and scared and have to get a job and a 401k and a house and pay rent. Hate it. I hope in the next life I come back as a bear.
I can't. I hope. Can I be just a rock?
Oh yeah, a rock is a good one.
Yeah.
Or a tree.
I didn't know if that was possible. Yeah. When I die, I told Pedro that I want to be a tree or a coral reef.
Like turn your ashes into that?
Yeah, my asses.
My asses. I want to be thrown into a volcano when I die.
Wow.
And I made my brother sign a contract to do that. I'm just kidding.
No, Pedro, my husband told me to just chuck him in the woods.
Honestly, it's a lot cheaper than paying for like a funeral expense.
Cannot. No, but for real, I did want to do like a tree or a coral reef, but then I saw that like you can turn ashes into like gemstones or whatever, so I wanted to make like a piece of jewelry like for everyone, you know, like all the family or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know how expensive that is, so
imagine. Why are you wearing grandma?
I told Pedro, I know this is gross, but I don't know if you ever saw that post where like they made like a vibrator
Oh
urn
no.
and they put the ashes
Oh
in there.
no, please stop right there. He's always in me.
And me, that's what I told Pedro. He was like, "You're stupid." I also saw this cool post a long time ago about how like somebody was like, when I die, like I want them to polish my skull real nicely and turn the rest of my ashes into gems so they could be placed in the like eye sockets of the skull and they could be passed down from generation to generation.
Oh my god.
I thought that was
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. But I probably won't do it. It'll probably creep everyone out. Anyway.
Yeah.
What else do we have on here?
Hold on. Yeah, getting back on track.
Yeah, my bad.
Well,
I always do tangents. I'm really sorry.
I think it's great because it's funny. I think that's what like people.
I mean, it had to do with the afterlife and all that, and what you want to do with your body.
And we were
anyway.
talking about that, so we were on track technically.
Thanks. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I can just talk about a couple more points, and then I'll be done. And then if you want to add anything else, we can go into that.
Yeah, of course.
But again, and this is just my own experience, whenever I went to church or, you know, like in college when I went to that super religious school, or in Bible study, everyone I met always felt so like superficial and disingenuous. Like I feel like they always wanted something from me. You know? Does that make sense? Like,
yeah.
It was constantly like, I don't know, the interactions were just like, they were like inauthentic. At least to me, that's what I felt. Like they wanted, or they were talking to God about, they were talking to me about God because they wanted me to join something that they're part of or their specific religion. And I felt like it was just like a recruiting, but it was like a recruiting thing. But it was always like, it was the constant like, you need to do this to get into heaven, you need to do that to be forgiven by God, and all these things. And it was always that. It always felt very selfish as compared to like, let's help each other out, let's try to form a good support system for each other, let's try to have a good community for each other, which I'm sure there are some churches that do have that. I never felt like that, and I would love to join a church that actively like tries to maintain like a good community with each other and they support each other. But that's just, again, what I've always experienced. I don't know, it's weird. Like when you go to church, specifically with like white people, it's weird. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a cultural thing that I'm not used to, because you know the college that I went to was primarily like a branch of Mormonism, and so most of the preachers and most of the people that went were white, and like I don't know, they like got a little too much. I don't know, it's just me. And that's coming from an ex-Catholic. That was girl.
Something's fishy.
Yeah, but
I went to Bible study too.
Oh yeah?
But it was like those random people, like students on campus that would be like Bible study.
Oh yeah.
So I tried it in community college and like when I went to USC. And I don't know, they just seem so robotic. Like the way that they're taught to preach and like to talk about it, it just felt so weird. Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like they were all brainwashed.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Yeah.
It's like they were brainwashed and they were told to do it this exact way, like to talk to people about the Bible and God and all that. Yeah. And then growing up, I had a friend who was like super religious, and she would tell me that I was gonna go to hell if I didn't go to church. And I was always worried because I never went to church. Like it never called to me. Being at church, I hated it. And I always felt like closer to God or whatever, like if I was on my own, you know, having a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until college when I finally I just went to like one of the services there. And it wasn't until that pastor was like, you know, like a lot of people say you have to go to church to like to be with God or whatever, but he's like, that doesn't make any sense because the relationship that you have with him, it's just you and him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you don't have to go to church as long as you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. As long as you have that like connection with God, you know, on your own, then you're fine because he's everywhere. And I was like, this makes a lot of sense. And it was like kind of like a reassurance for me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not super like, I'm not religious like I used to be. Not even religious, but like I'm not like, I don't read the Bible anymore, even though I used to. I'm not super religious anymore. Like everything doesn't revolve around that like it used to.
Yeah.
And I still feel guilty, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, no. I think it's hard to shake off some of the stuff that you've been like taught when you were really young.
It really is.
Like I'm still kind of dealing with it. But I'm hoping.
And I feel like we just might the rest of our lives.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just trying to live my life good, I guess. Like I'm trying to go to work. I'm saving up for a house. I'm happy in my marriage. I'm doing stuff that I want to do.
It makes me happy.
So
well, not being a piece of shit too. Like I'm.
Yeah, no, I mind my own business unless it's like involving Josh or any of my brothers and sisters or you and Pedro. Nah, girl. Or any of my close friends. I'm out of it. I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna be in my own lane.
Yep.
I'm not trying to interfere with anyone else's lives if I don't have to.
Same.
But the moment someone trying to fight anyone I love, I'm gonna be right there. I'll be like, "What'd you say? You gonna catch these hands?"
I'ma throw them.
You better catch them.
Oh my God. With your face. Oh, going back to like I just randomly thought of it, or like it came to me. People that like are super like hardcore, go to church, but then they continue to do this, like make the same sins over and over and over, but claim to be like super hardcore. My mom likes to call those cucarachas de la iglesia.
Oh yeah, they are.
Yeah, cockroaches of the church.
Yep,
is my mom calls
That's exactly.
them.
They're always like there.
Yes, and a lot of her family growing up would like, I guess like they did judge my mom because she never had time to go to church because of her work schedule. But my mom is a very, very like she's a good person. My mom is like the sweetest. She will help anyone in need. Like she always thanks God, you know, she prays. Like she does all of that. Yeah. Minus the church going. I mean, nowadays she tries to go as much as she can because her schedule's a little better, but I feel like she was more of what someone who believes in God should be than her family who always claimed that they went to church and they did all those things, but then those same family members talk behind my mom's back, never help my mom with taking care of their mother, always asking like for things but never repay, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
Like they're just bad people. You know, and I'm just like, it's always the super religious people that love to use God to show others that they're good, but in reality, like
they're not. Yeah.
Cucarachas de la iglesia.
Yep.
And if you're listening, fuck you. Talking about my mom when all she's done is help you. You know what? I'm gonna do a whole other episode about you people. Anyway, point being, cucarachas de la iglesia.
Yep.
In conclusion, don't be a cucaracha.
Don't be a roach. Don't be a rat either. Don't be a rat either.
Don't be a rat. Don't be a rat or a roach of the church.
Yeah.
Be a good person. I don't know, what else did you want to add?
Yeah, I just want to add one more point and then I'll be quiet. Probably not, but
no, probably not.
So a lot of religious and conservative people use their beliefs to deny science. And that
gosh, yes.
gets me heated so fucking much because it becomes dangerous. And we saw that with COVID. The government gave us restrictions on what we can and can't do because it was a fucking pandemic. People were dying left and right, and honestly, they still are. They're just not reporting it. And these fucking eggheads, religious eggheads, are like, and not everybody, obviously, but the people that were very anti-mask, anti-vaccination are religious. Anyways, they were like, nah, I'm not doing that. And people like that are the reason why COVID stayed for so long. And I know the government like recently said we're clear of COVID. That's bullshit, because no one fucking takes it seriously. I still wear my mask when I go to work. I'm lame. I don't give a shit. I'm not trying to die. I'm not trying to get some, I don't know. It makes me so mad. And it's like that. They don't believe in evolution. They think the earth is 50 years old. I'm like, girl.
Isn't it 50 years old?
The earth?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm just kidding. You're like, actually, it's 100?
Actually, come on, Kales.
No, but like I've heard people say like the earth is only like 1,000 years old. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? It's stupid.
I fear for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just
that's
the way things are gonna go.
Yeah. I don't know, but I feel like COVID was like a warning. So the next pandemic will eventually come to us. It's gonna be a lot worse, and a lot more people are gonna die. And that's seriously
hopefully it's stupid people, but
that's what I'm just like, I don't want to be that person. But also, if you're being stupid, bye. If you die,
survival of the fittest.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
more like survival of people
of the like
who aren't too stupid.
But yeah, that's just the final points I wanted to make. In general, or ultimately. And this is just my own beliefs at the end of the day. You're going to believe in what you want to believe. That's literally your right to do so in this country. But yeah, when you say stupid shit is going to be said right back to you, you know? Like, you can't expect to have these weird ideologies and not have any sort of like repercussions for it or any backlash for it. So if you are religious, there's nothing that you are like, that's great. But
leave everybody else alone.
Yeah. If what you do in your spare time and what you believe, that's on you. And I'm not gonna shame you for that. But I will shame you if you overlook abuses, specifically in your religion and in your household and in your community. I'm gonna blame you if you're sexist, homophobic, transphobic, any of the phobias. I'm gonna blame you, because ultimately, if you're not against it, then you're perpetrating it.
Okay, girl, preach.
And I have one more thought, but I'm gonna save it till the very end. If you want to add anything.
In conclusion,
I mean, you have some really good points here, especially about the virginity one.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, because
growing up.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I've always said this, like jokingly, but I'm like, I feel like if I wasn't religious, I would have probably been a slut or what people call a slut. But I feel like I would have explored more.
Yeah.
You know. But I mean, I did end up, like I said, losing my virginity before I got married. I didn't really sleep with a lot of guys. It was like 2.5, like I said in the past. But even then, I felt really, really like wrong, and I just felt really wrong for it.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was gonna go to hell. But I was like, what about all these men who claim to be men of God, who are over here like having sex with women left and right before they got married? You know, like why is it only for a woman and not a man? I feel like we're always focused on a woman.
Yep.
And it's only because you can tell that a woman's lost her virginity. If she got pregnant, of course, obviously. But
obviously,
a guy, like, he can keep saying, yeah, I'm a virgin. Like, please.
Yeah.
How is that fair?
Yeah.
So when I started thinking that way and how, like, you were saying, like, religion is very sexist, then that's when I was like, nah, fuck that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But what other... Was there something else on there? I feel like that was one of them that I got. Oh, also, I had to go to marriage counseling before I got married. And there was a part where, like, it said that the woman has to be submissive to her husband. That did not sit well with me at all. And my husband would be like, well, you wanted to get married to the church. I was like, yeah, but I don't agree with that. Like, why do I need to be submissive?
Oh, you met a priest before you got married.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, because you
had to be
married at a church.
It was through a Christian church, and I had premarital counseling with the pastor that was going to marry us. And the word submission just didn't sit right with me. Like, oh, you have to be submissive the way... Something about, like, God and his church or whatever. Point being, that didn't sit well with me at all. And I told him, and I straight up told the pastor, like, I don't agree with that. I'm like, why do I need to be submissive? I thought we were talking about how it was supposed to be, like, equal partnership, not submissive. Like, why can't he be submissive to me? You know, like, so that was one of the things that bugged me.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, dude, like, it's very sexist. And I've gotten into arguments with my mom about it, and she hates when I start talking like that. Because I'm like, whatever, mom.
Like, she agrees with that notion?
Yeah, no.
To an extent?
But,
my mama...
I guess she doesn't like when I start questioning things.
Oh.
Because I feel like it makes her question, and she doesn't like that, you know? But, or I don't know if it's disrespectful. But I remember that, and then, damn it, there was one more thing. I lost my train of thought. But yeah. So that was one of the things that,
I was gonna say, is my mom your priest? 100% she agrees with that.
You know what? She might have disguised herself, but as a man.
Yeah, it's sexist, but I use that into my advantage. So every now and then when I go over to my parents' house, my parents are like, or at least specifically my mom, is like, when are you gonna have kids? You're married. It's the perfect time to have kids. And I'm always like, Josh doesn't want them, and she's immediately like, oh, okay. But when I say, I don't wanna, she's like, it doesn't matter what you say. I'm just like, girl, what?
No, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she was like, you think that now, but, and I'm just like, girl, what?
Get out of here. So now you know how to play the system.
Yeah, I use sexism to my advantage, girl. I've learned.
I cannot. You're so smart.
Yeah.
Women are evolving, guys.
Quick, stop them.
I cannot. Oh, another thing I was gonna talk about, like way back, like way back, like when they would reach to people and the people couldn't read, they would lie to them about what the Bible said to get them to do what they wanted.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So this is like something that like has been going on forever, and I just feel like even today a lot of people don't read their Bible even though they claim they do. And they're just preaching to you like whatever.
Yeah.
And you don't even know what's in your Bible.
Nope. First you gotta learn how to read, then you read the Bible.
Exactly. In conclusion, what she said. Learn how to read and then read your Bible. Don't let them read it to you.
Yeah.
That's how they get you. That's pretty much it. I don't know. I think I went over all my stuff.
I think I did so too.
I just had a couple of I don't know if you wanted to read the posts or not, but if not, that's fine.
Oh, yeah, we can.
I just thought they were hilarious. Yeah? Did you want to say what you wanted to say first?
No, I'm going to leave that to the very end. Because that's kind of like my finishing. Like, I'm done. I'm done with the podcast. Yeah. Or done with this episode.
Okay, cool. So one of the this was a Reddit post, that I found that said, is it possible that people who made religions were just schizophrenic?
Honestly, maybe. That's a very good question.
But I just think it's just insane that there are so many out there.
Yeah. I mean...
Like, there are just so many.
Yeah, for sure.
But then again, it's like a lot of things they didn't know about, like mental health issues. Like they didn't know about that till recently. So
Yeah.
it's a possible. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
please don't kill me, God. Anyway,
yeah, I think different types of religions would come up because so many different people are from so many different places that of course they would just come up, you know, schizophrenia or not, I don't know.
I just think it's crazy.
I was gonna say, okay, one final point is kind of relates to like the inconsistency I see in Christian communities. It's like, why are there so many different branches of Christianity? Like if the Bible is absolute, why are there so many different
interpretations? Like, because somebody went, yeah, I don't agree with that.
It's exactly.
I'm just gonna go off do my own thing.
Literally, and that ties into the point of people using their religion to justify what they do. So
exactly,
that alone is like sketchy. And I hate it.
And that's why I pulled away.
Yep.
I pulled away.
But anyways.
That was a very good point, Kales.
Thank you.
You get a gold star.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last post. So this is a Christian homophobe complaining about LGBT propaganda, asks how we'd feel about Christians pushing their religion on others unasked. And the post says, of course it bothers me. How would you feel if Christians were doing that to you? Constantly shoving religious propaganda in your face despite you disagreeing with it. Trying to convert your children to Christianity behind your back, demanding a whole month of respect to them. This is an actual person that posted this. Like, they weren't trolling.
Oh my god, the lack of self-awareness?
Like,
it's there.
I was like, no, this can't be real. And sure enough, it is.
Oh my god.
So, if you're listening, fuck you.
Fuck you, man. Like, really? Like, are you really that naive and not paying attention to anything in this country? I guess not.
It's insane. Yeah, those were the two that I found. Yeah. And I was like, I think that should be okay.
Yeah.
Kales, anything else to add?
Yeah, just one final remark. I mentioned earlier that I identify as agnostic now. So shout out to all the other agnostics listening.
Woo!
The one person. And again, at the very beginning of the episode, or when we started talking about this topic, I did mention that we only have the perspective of like the Christianity that we grew up with, but I'm always open to learning and hearing about other non-Christian beliefs, specifically non-Western beliefs, because they sound a lot better.
Yes, they do.
So if there's any like, also if you have a completely different experience from us, please share it. I would love to read it.
Please.
I love hearing about good childhood stories, you know?
Oh my god, yeah.
I love people that grew up in a healthy environment. Can't relate, but I love it.
I agree.
So please, you're more than welcome to share any recommendations for a better religion. Please let me know.
Yes. Please.
And that's all I have.
We're begging you.
We're begging you, please.
Just kidding. Kales?
Yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, same.
All right.
It was a pretty lengthy episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
I hope, I enjoyed talking about this a lot.
Me too. It was really good. Really.
It was really therapeutic too. I'm not gonna lie.
It really was, and it's just crazy because I'm telling you, like, I didn't know all of this about you. You know?
Yeah, I didn't know about some of the stuff you mentioned too. I didn't know.
Yeah, I was like, what? And I just love how we're always on the same page.
Oh, I love it. Like, how many years have we been cousins? Our whole lives.
How old are you?
And it's only now. It's only now we're opening up to each other. It's
just crazy.
I love it.
I love it.
Yeah. But
yeah, guys.
But also thank you for listening. No, thank you,
me.
Adriana. Yeah, little old you.
No, I know. Well, I mean, I kind of had to. I kind of like muted you for what? I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, thank you for listening, dude. This was really good.
This is really good. All right.
I can see why we're both fucked up, but anyway. Oh! I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, you're right. You're right, though.
Okay, I love you.
Love you too.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, bye.
We love you.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks to our 3 listeners. And yeah, bye.
Bye.
They're cousins and their wives. Don't you know they're the cousin wives? With all our money and I need to. Who knows what the hell they're gonna do? Don't wanna listen, well, it's true and bad. One of them laughs while the other gets mad. Check your man and check if it's butter. Cause this show ain't no like no other. It's cousin wives.